I have a very good relationship with China and with President Xi. I have great respect for President Xi. I consider him to be a friend of mine. It's unfortunate that this got out of control. It came from China. It got out of control.
President Trump on Friday defending his calling of the coronavirus the Chinese virus, despite growing calls that the phrase is a racial slur. And his election campaign following suit, an email from the Trump war room accusing Democratic frontrunner Joe Biden of siding with the Chinese as the race for 2020 takes shape. It's time now for our Sunday group. GOP strategist Karl Rove, former DNC chairwoman Donna Brazile, and Dr. Marty Makary, professor at Johns Hopkins School of Public Health and now a Fox News contributor. Good morning, all. Good morning. Karl, let me start with you because you lived through both of these at the White House. Is this a 9/11 moment or a Katrina moment for President Trump?
Well, I guess what you mean by that is this a moment in which the American people respond and say the administration is doing the right thing, or say you failed?
Correct.
And we don't know, because we look back now and call them moments. But like on 9/11, it was not only the response on 9/11 itself, which ended with the president's remarks from the Oval Office, but it was the visit to the mosque on Wednesday. It was the National Cathedral speech. It was the iconic moment in New York. It was with the bullhorn. I hear you. The whole world hears you. It was the visit to the World Series, and it was the planning and the execution of the effort in Afghanistan. So this like that will be a series of moments. It will be a judgment that will be made by the American people as this goes along, and as the administration is seen to be making the right steps or not making the right steps. So far, so good, though. ABC Ipsos poll last week. Trump handling of the coronavirus crisis, approved 55, disapproved 43. That was this week. The week before it was 43-54, disapprove. So the president's had a pretty quick turnaround for a guy who's never been above 50% in the Gallup poll. The initial reaction seems to be the American people see him as doing the right things. And this is a situation where the Democrats make a mistake if they overreach. This attack, for example, calling it the xenophobic and racist to call it the Chinese virus, it emanated from China. And China lied to the world about what was going on there. China has launched an attack blaming this on the United States. Their ambassador in South Africa went out and said America created the virus. Foreign ministry officials said the U.S. Army let it loose. A concerted, organized effort by the Chinese government. And the Democrats appear to be sort of in a weird place by saying, don't call it China. Don't call it the China virus. Did they call Barack Obama racist when he was briefed about MERS, the Middle East respiratory syndrome, and his press spokesman went out and said, oh, yeah, but the president received a briefing today about the emergence of MERS in the United States. We think we can contain it. You know, it's just an overreach that is really a bad mishandling of this moment.
Well, let's get Donna Brazile to respond to that, and the fact, Donna, as well, that the president has been praised by New York Governor Cuomo and Gavin Newsom from California, while he's also receiving all of this criticism. What's your take on it?
First of all, we're faced with a global pandemic that is deadly, and also I believe it calls upon our leaders, national leaders, local leaders, to work collectively to speak as often as possible with one voice. I think the reason why many Americans, including myself, are very concerned about labeling it as a Chinese virus is because this is not the time to sow discord and division. We have to provide the kind of leadership that the American people understand, that we stay at home so that we can not just protect ourselves and our families, but our community, that our public health personnel are on the front lines and they need equipment, they need materials in order to do their jobs and to protect their lives. This is a time when you look for leadership, not division, not dividing, and I understand the normal response to go into a poll-driven what I call mania. But right now, we want straight answers from our leaders. We want to know how we can protect ourselves and protect our economy, as well as our own lives and livelihoods. So I just want to say, because I came out of my home and my neighborhood today, and I came out because I am concerned as an American citizen. Karl and I work very close together after Katrina to make sure that we did not, have this so-called partisan moment. We had to work together, and that's what we must do today. Work together if we're going to stop this pandemic from destroying who we are as a country and who we are as individual citizens as well.
On the subject of leadership, let me go to Dr. McCary. What should the federal role be in all of this, Dr. McCary, to assist states or lead the way? And how do you view what the White House is doing?
Well, first of all, many government leaders are doing the right thing, but the problem is some of America still is in denial that we even have a problem. We live in a very opinionated country, but this is not fantasy football here. These are facts, and this is data, and what's happening in Italy will happen in the United States. They had 793 deaths in the last 24 hours. I saw your interview with Dr. Friedman just now. I don't think he answered your question about how many cases we're going to have here. We're going to have hundreds of thousands of deaths, and we're going to have millions of people with the infection. That's based on the data of Italy extrapolated to our population. What they're experiencing now is over 4,000 Americans dying per day when we get to their point in the infection. We've got the governor of Oklahoma taking selfies in crowded food courts, saying he doesn't want to do any restrictions on Friday. We've got hospitals that still have been doing elective surgery all this week, using valuable gowns and masks. So we've got the scientific battle, but we need to do the public awareness to really make a big dent here and to try to flatten the curve.
We only have 1 minute left because everybody was espousing so much their opinions on this, which we love. It was great. But let me ask you this question, Karl and Donna Brazil. Do you believe that this and the way that it unfolds could have a real impact on Donald Trump's reelection chances?
Oh, absolutely. It's going to have an effect on everybody in the political drama. But Bernie Sanders is basically dead in the water. He needs to have big rallies to keep his movement going. Joe Biden is reduced to being on the sideline. And then we have President Trump's fate is going to be determined by how well he is seen as handling this crisis.
Donna?
No question there'll be a referendum on his leadership during this moment of crisis, and how I think the American people will judge him if he can tell the truth and to make us believe him. I think that's a moment for the president to try to take advantage of this opportunity to try to heal and bring us together.
Dr. McCary, real quick answer. Should the president continue to push to get hydroxychloroquine and chloroquine out there? I need 10 seconds.
Yeah, look, there's a study from France showing it. There may be a benefit. The idea that it's just anecdotal is not really true. There is some data out there, and when somebody's on a ventilator about to die, why not give them a chance with a medication that's safe?
We got to go. Panel, thanks so much.